Wow, good morning everyone from spectacular, gorgeous Toronto. Hope everyone's having a wonderful morning. And I thought I would give the class outside today, but it's actually a little chilly. So we're going to go indoors. And welcome everybody. Grab your tzedakah so we could give tzedakah. And then get your tehillim. Okay. We'll start with chapter Chaf. For the hostages to come home, begging Hashem, please, the month of Adar, to show us miracles, asking Hashem to protect every one of our soldiers. We don't have to see any more soldiers returning their souls to Hashem. Done. And asking Hashem for safety for all of Israel, in Israel and in Chutz La'aretz. You know, sometimes I feel like we're probably safer in Israel, being with people that love us. And safety and security is paramount to our Israeli soldiers. But I don't know, Canada is one big dumping ground of a lot of anti-Semites. Good morning, Chava. Good morning, Karine. Good morning, Pauline. Boker Tov. Good morning, everybody. So we're going to say Tehillim together. Say it with all your... First give tzedakah. And we'll say chapter Chaf. I'd like to have in mind a special little boy in my school, a little 3-year-old, Nachabendel Ben Ilana. Should have a complete refuah shalema. Hi, Barbara. You could put down anybody who needs a refuah shalema. If you know any of the soldiers by name, if you want to put anybody down. Hi, Esther. Hi, Helga. Hi, Dorit. Yeah, put down any names that you want us to say Tehillim for. Hi, good morning, Sophie. Wonderful to see everybody. Here we go. Lamnatzech Mizmar LeDavid. Yancha Adonai biyom tzara. Yisagetcha Hashem Elohei Yaakov. Yishlach Ezrecha Mikodesh Umitzion Yisadeka. Yiskar kol mechasecha v'los chidash nesela. Yiten l'chach lavecha v'chol atzascha yimale. Nirana b'shuasecha v'shem Eloheinu yidgol yimalei Adonai kol mashal secha. Ati yadati ki Yashia Adonai Mashiach Yanei mishmei kodshe b'gvuras yesha yimino. Ela v'recha v'ela v'asusim v'nachnu v'shem Adonai Eloheinu naskir. Hema karav v'nafol v'nachnu kamnu v'nisadad. Adonai Hoshea HaMelech Hanenu Yom Karenu. Chaim David ben Etta, Esther bas Devora, Leah bas Devora, Rachel bas Vivian, Chaim ben Aviva. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Nikki. Nikki came in with a pot. So I thought maybe we're making hamatashin, but no, she just titled it. I got excited. I thought we were going to do a little bit of a hamatashin party today. All right. Okay, so now that we are, by the way, Can you give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear this? Because it's showing up as a slow connection. Let me know if you can hear it, because last week we had to actually move into another room. Tell me if the connection is good, if you can hear me. Okay? We have Esther Bas Rivka, okay? So we're going to learn in honor and in schus of everybody's refuah shalema, a body, in mind and soul. Chava, can you hear? Okay, fantastic. Okay, Chava, we're going to miss you here. Oh, Corinne says we can hear perfectly. Okay, so the story of the joke about the two moms sitting in the Catskills, like mothers do in the Catskills. If you've ever been to the Catskills, you know. And they were having their coffees, and one mother goes, "Oi!" Second mother goes, "Oy vey." The third mother says, "Oy Gotten Himmel." The fourth mother says, "Okay, enough talking about the kids. Now let's just have a coffee." Exactly. Okay, good morning, Elise. Good morning, Marilyn. Good morning, Becky. Good morning, Sancha. Good morning. The picture is breaking up, but the sound is fine. All right. Anyway, Becky, can you hear me in Israel? Because my friends in Toronto are not hearing so well. Maybe Israel has a better connection. Israel for sure has a better connection. Okay. So that's my first joke. The second parenting joke is about this Jewish mother who, hi Rosalie, good morning Arlene, good morning Lynn. Wow, everybody's coming on at the same time. So this Jewish mother is sending off her little gorgeous boy to school for the first day. And she takes him to the bus. And as he goes on the bus, she says, Ziskai, don't forget to have the best day ever. My Tyra Yingala, I want you to ask good questions. Oh, my precious Neshama, make sure you behave. Ziskai, if somebody wants your snack, make sure you share. Precious Bubala, make sure you daven well. And finally, the little boy goes on the bus and he's there for the day. As the bus arrives home, the mother runs to the bus. She goes, oh, Tyra Pupukul, how was your day today? He says, Mom, I learned that my name is Moshe. So, there's something about Jewish mothers. We love our kids limitless. There's no one that loves their children like a Yiddish mama. And that's why there's so many jokes. But if you think about it, the Torah is full of conversation and direction on how a Yiddish mama raises her children. You know, I want to tell you something. You could tell me if you think I'm correct or if you have the same feelings as well. I think what the anti-Semites hate about the Jews is that we have something that they don't have. We have this insane love for our families, for our children, for the cohesiveness of our homes. The way we raise our children, the way we say goodbye to our children. It's so public that they know how much we love our children. The way we prepare a Shabbos and they sit around the table. The way we light our candles and hug our children afterwards. There's no other religion or culture or family that infuses such connection. And I think the world sees it, but they can't point their finger on it. And it's driving them insane. And they look at us and there's something that we have they want. Well, this is the message to all those anti-Semites. And none of them are in this class, by the way. All anti-Semites. If you are jealous of the way we raise our children, just copy us. Just mimic us. Do what we do. If you see the words we use, the love, affection that we use to our children, do the same. Stop cursing. Stop flipping out over your kids. Respect them. Love them. Nurture them. Open a Bible. Open the Torah and see what it says. If you can't stand us for who we are, just copy us. And then you'll be so busy effusing love and generosity and kindness, you won't have time to protest the whole day in the streets. You'll be busy sharing love. Why don't you get it? Okay, so here's a message for those that want to copy us. But those of us who are Jewish, you know and I know that everything we have comes from the Torah. That's why we have it right. That's why we're raising our children with such incredible morals and values. Because we're not just picking up books from Indigo or running to the library. We have our ancient wisdom from over 2,500 years ago. Even longer. From Abraham, the way he raised his children. Yitzchak. The way Sarah worried about her children. This is what we're doing. We have the best. You know, there was a lady by the name of Amy Chu. She's a professor at Yale. And she wrote a best-selling book. I think it's called The Tiger Mom. We spoke about this on Shabbos. And this woman talks about how she raised children that are very, very accomplished. They have very, very strong motivational methods on how they learn and study. And she instills in them that if, God forbid, they don't get the perfect score or mark on their test, they are in deep trouble. And she's proud of it. She talks about how her children have lessons every single hour. You know, piano, violin, and jazz, and ballet, and gymnastics. And they don't have time to play outside, and she's proud of it. She doesn't want any downtime for her kids, God forbid. She wants her kids just to excel in every single area, and they have to practice after they finish their classes. By the way, she got a lot of flack for that book. And I saw recently a write-up. She said it was just a joke. She was joking. But that's not true, because when she wrote the book, she was dead serious. This is how she raised her kids, and she thought she was right. But my friends, we know that this is absolutely way too eccentric. We need to raise balanced children. Balanced children who are successful, because we inculcate in them the love for learning. We value learning a lot. At the same time, we allow our children to grow in their emotional intelligence. We let them play, we let them share, we let them have, dramatic play with their dollhouses, with dress-ups. This is part of our everyday routine. It's not just, once a year they allow. Every day children are role-playing, and we role-play with them, and we enjoy the time with them, and we give them the social skills, which are equally as important as the IQ skills. If you look at any successful person today, it's because their EQ is very, very healthy. So let's talk about the Torah's very, very clear directives on how to raise our children. Because over-controlling parents actually has terrible backlash as the children become adults. And if you listen to all the mic drops today, children are very, very resentful to parents who didn't allow them to have downtime, to play, to be nurtured, to be hugged, to be cuddled, to play with friends, to role play, to learn menschlichkeit, to learn derech eretz. You don't learn this in a book on a piano. You don't learn this when you're having a violin lesson. You learn this when you're going to shul, or when you're going to someone's home for Shabbos, or when you're going to a birthday party. These are the skills we need to bring to our children. I remember as a teenager, I thought I knew everything about parenting. After I raised 8 kids, I realized I don't know anything about parenting. Right? Before we get married, we think we know everything. We read a few books and we're going to raise our kids like this. When we have our children, we realize that every kid is an olam maleh. What's an olam maleh?
Individual?
A complete individual world. And they're not the same. And we have to treat them differently. And like Shlomo Melech said, Chanech l'nar api darko. Raise your child according to their way, their personality, their strengths, their weaknesses. So in the Parsha this past week, it was such a good, enjoyable Parsha that I wanted to repeat it today. If you know the Parsha last week, please put it down in the comments. Anybody remember what was last week's Parsha? It spoke a lot about the temple, the Mishkan, right? Remember what the Parsha was called? Vayakel, excellent. Parshas Vayakel. And in this Parsha, Moshe tells the Jewish people, bring me your gold. Who came first? Very good, Becky. Who came first with all of their jewelry? The women. It says the women came and the men followed thereafter. Vayivahu anashim al hanashim. The men came after the women. So the women were very excited. And you remember, when they built the golden calf, did the women bring their jewelry? No. Not one woman donated her jewelry. But when it came to building the Mishkan, all the women were there first, and the men followed afterwards. I'm not going to talk about the greatness of women. I don't have to patronize any of us. We know who we are. We know that we're the mainstay of the home. We're the keres habayis. There's so much that the world has to learn from women. This is one little thing. That when it came to donating for a good Jewish cause, women's tzedakah should be first. I don't know today about women, if women give a lot of tzedakah first. I don't know. Tell me out there if you think it's true. It's actually very interesting. Because the days of the temple, the women gave first. But today, women aren't so fast about giving big donations. I don't know why. If someone can enlighten me on that. Because women have bank accounts today. Women are going to work. Women have to give 10% to tzedakah. I wonder why the men give the big amounts. I don't know. It shouldn't be that way. women should be giving. Learning from this week's parasha, Vayakel. Women came first.
If it's a marriage, should each person give 10% or together?
It's together. It's the total amount from their income. So in this week's parasha, there's a pasuk that actually tells you what the women gave. And I want to share this with you because the Frierdiker Rebbe in 1934 had a farbrengen. He met with the Jewish women. I'm not sure if they were in Riga. Possibly yes. And at this farbrengen, the Frierdiker Rebbe addresses the women and he tells them that these 4 ornaments that I'm about to share with you, the Torah says were given by the women. These 4 ornaments were not just, women had a bunch of extra bracelets and a bunch of extra rings. These 4 pieces of jewelry actually teach us 4 dynamic parenting lessons. And that's what we're going to share today. The first one was the earring. The women donated their gold earrings. The second piece of jewelry was their nose rings. I don't have a nose rings. I can't show you mine. But they did give their nose rings. The third was their ring. And the last one was an armband. So it was like, I guess they wore these bracelets and they wore it on the top of their arm, like over here. Must have been a beautiful, I don't know if it's done these days, but that was what they brought. So it was the earring, the nose ring, the finger ring, and the armband. Now, you know nothing in Torah is just coincidental or just, everything has a lesson. And there are 4 lessons that I want to share with you that are very powerful if you have children at home. And if you have grandchildren, they're equally as powerful. How many of you watching have children in the home? Give me a thumbs up so I want to see. Okay? It's just I want to know the demographics. If you have Kinderlach in the house, and these are going to be very relevant pieces of direction for you. So we start off with the earring. What's that prayer, the fundamental prayer? Oh, good, Dorit. What's the fundamental prayer that Jews say every single day, sometimes once, 2 times, or sometimes even 3 times? The Shema. That's right. The Shema prayer. And Shema means hear, listen. So the first prayer already is connected to the earring. Hashem is telling the Jewish people, you know why the woman brought the earring? Because as a Jewish woman, we have to know how to listen. Before anything else, a Jewish parent has to be a good listener. So when we're putting our kids to sleep, when we're having dinner with them at the table, having dinner with your children at the supper table is equally as important as cooking the supper for them. Because when you sit down around the table as a family, you're listening to the conversation. You're listening about what happened in school that day. Was anybody hurt? Was anybody bullied? Was anybody complimented? Did anybody do very well? Did anybody fail? Did anybody have worries? Was anybody scared or embarrassed? Was anybody complimented or elevated? These are things we have to listen to. And then we know exactly where our children are at. Because sometimes the children actually don't use their words. They hold things in. Either because they don't have the word, or because they're scared. What's somebody going to say? But at the table, when they think they're not being listened to, suddenly you're picking up on things, even in carpool. I don't know if those of you who are watching have carpools, but in Toronto, it's all about carpools. And the mother's sitting in the car, always carpooling the kids. We spend half our life carpooling. But listen to what the kids are saying in the back. Shema. Take that earring that's on your ear and listen. Listen to what they're saying. You know what the second thing of listening is? Parents sometimes don't realize what communication they're giving their children, what words they're saying. What happens at home is actually going to appear on your child's lips. So if there's beautiful words of compliments, you can hear kids saying that to their friends. Words of empathy, words of compassion, words of kindness. The kids are going to mimic you. Beautiful words, pleasant words, appropriate words. They say the words they hear at home. But if God forbid kids hear words of cursing or degradation or words of harm, those are the words they're going to use with their friends. So listen to the words. Listen to the words they're sharing with their friends or with their siblings. And it will open up a whole world. And if you hear things that you don't like, change it. Change within yourself. So that's number one. Number two, the nose ring. What is the most spiritual of our senses? Remember we spoke about this? Smelling. You should know Yom Kippur, there used to be a woman in my shul that used to hand out the little, like a clove of like a little thing of smells, cloves and other incense. And on Yom Kippur, when everyone was starving, she would send that around. And as the women sniffed, they actually were revived. It's magical. Smell is a very, very powerful sense. And as a mother, we have to be aware of how powerful that sense is. Sniff what's going on in your children's lives. Sniff what's going on in their bedroom, what's going on their phones, what's going on in their briefcase or in their notebooks. Check out what they're writing. Sniff around. Because sometimes you won't hear it, but you could pick it up. Right? It's that unspoken words that we as mothers have to be sensitive to. Right? We have to be able to let the children know that we are here. And if they don't have the words, hi Naomi, good morning Beth. If they don't have the words to say it, you have to pick it up. And take the children out for a walk on your own and just hold their hands and have a coffee with them and let them talk. Just be quiet. Let them know there's that space of letting them talk. Let them empty what's on their soul. If you feel that there's something, find the right people to help. If they're not speaking to you, find the people that they will speak to. Find child therapists, art therapists. Let them know that they will be heard, and let's not shut them down. Let them know that there's no judgment. So many children. I went to speak a couple of weeks ago on marriage, and a few women came over to me sharing with me about challenges they're having in relationships. And we were sitting and we were talking and we were sharing some ideas. I cannot tell you how many women have been sexually abused. I walked out of that, it was in a ballroom. I walked out of that ballroom, my heart was beating, there were tears coming, and you would have thought I would have been in a very happy mood because there was a huge crowd, there were a few hundred women, it was a very positive atmosphere, there was a singer before me, it was such a beautiful space. But those women who opened up to me that they were sexually abused as children, I couldn't sleep. It's been weeks now, I still can't sleep. Are we listening to our children? Are we sniffing? Number 3, the ring. It's funny, I actually keep one of my rings on my pointing finger. Our parents, we have to point out what's good and bad, what's right and wrong, what's moral or immoral. Don't expect the kids to get it from their phones or from their friends or from TikTok. No, they won't get it from TV or movies. The only place they'll get it is from you. And if they go to a Jewish school, they'll get it from their teachers. Point out to the children. Let them know what's moral, what's immoral, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. We can't expect them to pick it up on their own. They're kids. So take that ring And the women are teaching us, the women from still the days of the temple are telling us, women, take out your finger and point. Point to them, crystallize it to them, clarify the truth. Write with that finger. And then we have the fourth one, the fourth piece of music, the fourth jewelry. What was that? The armband. And the armband is about proactive teaching, actually being assertive. In other words, we're listening, we're sniffing, we're pointing, but sometimes it needs to have a mom that really is assertive and really identifies exactly what's appropriate and what's not. Mothers, don't be afraid to discipline. We don't have to be as crazy as the lady who wrote The Tiger Mom, but there's very much room for being an assertive Jewish mama who shows her children. Doesn't only talk the talk, but she walks the walk. We show our children what is right. We discipline our children, we would discipline ourselves. Right? If they're using words that are inappropriate, look in the mirror. Maybe it's coming from our mouths. If we're rolling our eyes and sniffing our nose, and that's what they're doing, look at yourself when you answer a phone call that you weren't interested in. Oh no, so-and-so was on the phone. Today we all have identity on the phones, right? Phone call identity. We could pick up the phones if we want to, and we can ignore them. Don't ignore. If someone called you, pick up the phone. And I struggle with that sometimes, because sometimes it's late at night and I don't have patience. But if someone calls, I have to pick it up. Because that's my thing. If they call me, it's because Hashem wants them to call me. And don't be such a big shot, because there are times that I call people and maybe they're rolling their eyes. It's a double street. And the kids are watching. They're watching what we're mumbling under our breath. And you know when you're going to see it? When you see how they react. So take that armband and discipline ourselves. Discipline ourselves while disciplining our children. And afterwards, in the Chumash, it says something very beautiful. It says the Jewish people gave it with nediv lev. They gave it with their complete heart. With a generous heart. With everything that we do. Let's give it all we got with joy. Do you know there are some women out there that still do not have children? They're married 15, 18, 20 years and they don't have children. They would do anything in the world to discipline children. They would give anything in the world. You know, our mikvah was built with very, very large donation from a beautiful organization called Mikvah USA. They gave us a lot of money. But this organization, the money is not theirs. The money that they donate to the mikvah causes comes from families. Now listen to this. Comes from couples that they have a friend that still not had children. So all the friends of that couple put together $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and they build mikvahs around the world so that the merit of the women dunking in those mikvahs and those blessings will give a bracha to the childless couples. There are so many couples that are begging Hashem for children. If you and I were blessed to have children, let's take these 4 virtues, these 4 directions from the Torah. Listen to your children. Sniff out if there's anything wrong, even wrong friends. They're hanging out with wrong friends. Ask around and cut off the friendship. You can do it. My father did it to me when I was in 8th grade. I told you that story, right? Never told you the story? I had a best friend since I was 4. How many people can say they had best friends they were 4? Into my teenage years. And then my father felt that this girl wasn't appropriate. And he called me into a room. And he sat down with me and he said, Goldie, I love you very much and I want to make sure that you have the right friends so that you grow up to be the right Chassidish woman you want to be. I think this girl is having a negative effect on you. I want you to call her and tell her that you're not going to be her best friend anymore. Guess what? I did. I listened to my father. I was 14 years old. You know, people look at me and go, you listen to your father? I'll tell you why. I knew my father loved me so much. He always complimented me and gave me so much confidence and so much nurturing. He took care of his children with so much love that I knew when he told me something that was challenging for me, I knew it came from a place of love. Because he wasn't only about tochacha. He wasn't just about reprimanding. It wasn't 80% reprimanding, 20% compliments. It was 20% reprimanding, 80% compliments. So when my father told me something, I listened. And he sniffed out. I never told him my friend did inappropriate things. He just sniffed it out. He was my father. He got it. So I'm giving you all a bracha today. That you have success in raising your children. That you have success with seeing, smelling, listening, pointing, and guiding your children. To raise them to Torah l'chuppah l'maisim tovim. To raise them to be good, powerful Jewish children, as we say in Chabad, to be true chayal, a chasser Yerushalayim and a lamdan. They should have the most beautiful behaviors, Torah behaviors, godly behaviors. And you should be the proudest Jewish mothers ever. And you should be zocher to raise them and bring them to the chuppahs with partners that are equally godly. And in the schus of the Jewish mothers, raising our children with godliness, with Torah, we should merit the freedom for our hostages, the end to the Hamas, and the welcoming to Mashiach. Amen. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. I just want to tell you that next week, Tuesday, I will not be having a class. I will be on my flight back to Toronto. Believe me, if I was in Israel, actually, no, I'm leaving 5 o'clock Tuesday morning. So I won't even be able to give a class. I would love to do it from Israel, but I will send a Facebook note from the Kotel in Mitzvah Hashem, wishing you a beautiful week, and hopefully Mashiach comes while I'll be here. You'll meet me there. Take care.